No one wants to admit they have biases, but sometimes the signs are too hard to ignore. This past summer, our school community received a plea for action from a collection of over 500 students and community members, leading to the creation of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee. This committee has been tasked with mitigating the racial inequity and bias that is being experienced in the Sandwich public school system. Claire Mulroy, a former Sandwich High School alumni, was instrumental in the creation of this committee.
I think at the beginning of June, where Black Lives Matter protests were erupting throughout the country, and we had this, national kind of reckoning with race and inequality, even though that is something that has, been plaguing our country for generations. We really saw like a massive reckoning with it this summer. And I was thinking about what I could do to kind of start a conversation about this, because I had also seen that the Sandwich Public Schools had released like a statement about it, but I was kind of frustrated with I was frustrated to see that it was more of just we stand in support kind of letter, and it didn't really have what we needed, which is, proposing policy change and making actual difference in this community to change things that were there. It can't just be, we acknowledge what's happening and we support Black lives. It has to be, we are adopting a strictly anti-racist policy at Sandwich. I composed these 5, I think, policy changes. And those policy changes are just 1, to strengthen diversity inclusion training for all faculty and staff. 2, to incorporate the phrases diversity and hate speech into the student handbook. 3, to integrate a more comprehensive look into race relations and power structures in all classes. 4, to promote and require conversations about race and privilege in freshman seminar classes. And 5, to establish and strengthen critical race, gender, class, and sexuality classes.
Claire's letter to all of us this summer was definitely the impetus to kind of push us into a diversity committee. But I will tell you, from the minute I got here back in 2016, I think it was, we had been trying to undertake some work on our capacity to look at our unconscious biases and things like that, even in amongst the staff. Claire was great, and her and all the signatures on the letter pushed us to, again, the work we've been doing was just low key. This is going to take us to that next level. So the idea of creating a subcommittee of the school committee is brand new since this summer.
Several of the teachers and students at SHS have joined the committee, hoping to influence some positive change. One of these teachers is the chair of the art department, Mrs. Ganju, who has stepped up to the task of championing equity for her students and community.
There's power there when you put a group of people together that, again, they're done talking and they're ready to make change, and they're all doing it for the next generation.
I'm really glad that I was able to join the DEIAC, because with this committee, I'm really hoping to get more education to high school students in the lower grades and learn more about diversity and the different aspects of diversity and what we can do to be more inclusive in our community.
And we have multiple students on our committee that are phenomenal. We voted one in as chair. And I really do believe, and I tell people this all the time, we can get really, just really feeling bad about the state, right, of this situation that's happening with the lack of diversity or the lack of respect for diversity. And I tell people all the time that the future is bright, because this next generation is not going to put up with it anymore.